Welcome to the Daily Influence, where our mission is to deliver a daily dose of positive influence that can uplift you personally or be shared within your sphere of influence. While not every episode may directly apply to your unique circumstances, we strive to provide insights and inspiration relevant to most people's daily, weekly, and monthly lives. Whether you are tuning in during the morning, noon, or night, the Daily Influence is here for you. Listen, share, and embrace the power of influence in your life. Hey everybody, Brian Smith here with the I Am Team series and the Daily Influence. And today we're going to talk about team building tips. You know, we're in the tail end of writing our third book, which is Responsible Influence, Build the I Am Team. And in this third book, the third in our I Am Team series of books, is about how do I build my area of influence? How do I build my team? And a team is not always more than one person. It starts with you. You are the focus of influence on your teams, to you. Now, you can delegate that leadership to somebody else. And that's one of the tips in building teams. But the number one tip that I have for you in building teams is understanding what that team is there for. Why did you build it? Why do you want to build it? Understand it. What do you know about it? What are their limitations? What are their advantages? What opportunities do you have with this team? Why do you want to be with this team? And what is your goal? And is it a SMART goal? And yes, we always go back to SMART. Specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and timely. And you can apply that across all aspects of your life, almost in every given moment. And when things don't work, I will tell you that if you think about it objectively and you slow down, you will always find that there is something missing from SMART in that problem. And it will help you get to root cause. So when you're struggling with building teams, when teams aren't holding together, they're not cohesive, you need to look at, well, what is it that isn't cohesive? Are there people that don't communicate well together? Why don't they communicate well together? What's not SMART about their communication? Am I struggling to communicate with people? What's not SMART about that communication? Am I not being open-minded or objective? Am I being too subjective? Am I setting poor expectations? Building a team is about being cohesive. Do I expect too much from individuals? Do I give them unattainable goals? Do I not think out our tasks or even where we want to be? And is it unrealistic? Have I challenged myself and our team if what we're doing is relevant and realistic for this particular timeliness that we're trying to achieve our goals or our aspirations? If we find ourselves struggling with customers or vendors on a regular basis or employees, what's the common denominator of that turnover? What is causing us to have a repetitive issue over and over and over again? And I would challenge you to look in the mirror first and see, what are we doing, I or we doing, that is causing or making this difficulty? What expectations have we set that aren't allowing people to stay with us? A lot of times people like to look at the smallest things, which really are big, but they're small, like price. My prices are too high. Does anybody else charge what you charge? If the answer is yes and they're successful, then I would say your prices aren't too high. Do I not return my calls in a timely way? Do I not give enough specifics when I communicate? Am I not listening to people in my organization or within my areas of influence? Do I talk over people, or do my team members talk over each other? And if you can't come to a conclusion for yourself in your struggles, ask somebody. Leaders have humility. Good leaders have amazing humility. And they will go to their team and say, what am I doing wrong? And then listen. Open yourself up to criticism, constructive criticism. And if people have things to say to you that upset you, ask yourself, why am I upset when I am being told about my behavior when I ask for them to do it? Is it your ego? Is it because you think you're above them because you're the boss so and so or the owner? Being the owner doesn't give us a right to treat people with disrespect or to set not smart expectations for people. We don't get to do that and not have consequences. Just because we own a company doesn't mean we can push people past what their performance criterias are. And if we don't understand what those are, if we don't understand our team's limitations, we're not a good leader. We need to go out and understand those things. So if you want to build a team, if you want to be a leader on a team, yourself, many people, understand the team. Be smart about that approach. Ask people about themselves. Understand their place on your team, their place on a project, their place in the organization, and build on that place. Nurture that place and let that place grow with you. That's building a team, and support them in building their areas of influence in the exact same way. And when something doesn't work, find out why and share it with the whole team so that the team can learn from the mistakes of everybody. Don't compartmentalize your mistakes because you're afraid to share those mistakes, because you think you'll be looked down at. Use those mistakes as opportunity to grow yourself and to grow your team so they aren't creating those same problems again. Because we isolate ourselves in our mistakes and they fester and they grow and they get bigger and they get worse. And before you know it, we have problems that are sometimes untenable. So go out, build your team, be a leader. Thank you for joining us this week on the I and Team series and the Daily Influence. I look forward to talking to you again next week.